There's a village called Maryville, where everyone is merry, every single day of the month, and of course, the year. The one day where everyone is most joyous, though, is Christmas, a holiday full of trees filled with the ointment of oak surrounded by flashing lights, the aroma of the booty roast, and the joys of consumers of possessing their most prized gifts for the season. Till it gets taken back the next day, and several of them didn't like the gift because it was defective, or probably because they're spoiled idiots. Christmas songs surround the village with open ears, yet no one joins hands with one another or spends time with the family because they were either busy with themselves trying to impress their loved ones by giving them the best gift, or probably because they got drunk, left the throes, intoxicated. Despite that, everyone was merry about Christmas, but there was one citizen of Maryville that did not.
Man, look at the fools having their Christmas joy while I don't. I wish I could have Christmas, but no. It's all because I'm too short, leaving no one else but myself to notice.
His short green elephant pet, Fred, responded with a thought.
But Squeakers, Christmas is fun with presents and, presents. Oh, and the food. Oh yeah, that's good too. And the toys.
As his pet elephant rambles on about how Christmas is full of this joy, Squeakers shouts, silencing Fred without a meep.
What do you really know about Christmas? All it's about is the gifts they get, the food they gorge down in their vile throats, the gifts they will hold dear until months have passed. And I'm not even involved, all because I'm not tall.
Actually, you're just a midget,
said the elephant pet. Squeakers gave him an evil glare. Then an idea popped out of his head. An awful idea, so cruel that he cracked a smile nearly the top of his head.
Say, if I am a midget, that would mean...
And then Squeakers shouted from the top of his lungs, as tall as the mountains that surround him.
I can dress as an elf and steal everyone's Christmas belongings. That way, I can have my own Christmas.
Fred cried out.
But Squeakers, Christmas is for everyone. You can't just steal it. It's like trying to steal a plate of nachos from a cute little baby.
Well then, I guess it's too bad,
said the evil, grinning short stuff. Squeakers stole some green clothing and a pair of clown shoes from his neighbor, while the same neighbor was fast asleep. He sewed and sewed the green clothing until he was satisfied with the clothing of his size. He also sewn a hat that's in the same color as his torso, with a piece of white cotton at the end. And the final touch was the clown shoes that was too tall, but he knew that he wouldn't go for it alone as he needed a reindeer.
If only I had a vacuum cleaner, a car, and an evil sidekick, I would set up for my plan of terror upon Maryville.
He plotted and plotted until his mind nearly began to rot.
If only I had these things.
Until he plotted up a clever idea. He glared at Fred, picturing his trunk as a vacuum cleaner, his physique posture as a way of transportation, and of course, an ally to aid him in his diabolical plan to steal Christmas.
If I can't find these things,
said the green grasshopper one. My apologies, said the green short one.
I guess I'll have to make you into one.
Fred, eating his plate of nachos, turned his head to Squeakers, and Squeakers gave him an evil glee. He went to the same neighbor's house to steal one of the antlers from his dear trophy, and cut it a piece of the antler so that it could be placed on Fred's head, tied up by a row of dental floss.
With my disguise and my pet elephant, I'll be able to steal Christmas within one night.
Wait,
Fred replied.
What's the point of dressing as an elf when you can dress up like Santa Claus? Also, why the clothes when you could dress up like a ninja so no one can see you. Also,
Do you mind shutting your trap before it gets set up by a punch?
grunted the short green bean sprout. Again, Fred kept his trap shut so that Squeakers could speak.
Let's sail for Maryville, where we're gonna steal Christmas.
you know, at this point the viewers would have known that.
They sneaked into the first house they had just glanced and decided to sneak in through the chimney with only minor problems down the way.
Get down there, you furry!
I'm not fat!
As they had descended from the chimney, they witnessed a horizontal sight of wrapped gifts, stocking full of sweets galore, and the aroma of leftovers of the booty roast and the side dishes, especially candy cane pie,
Well, not anymore.
said the short thief. He then smacks Fred so that the green elephant could use his trunk to inhale all the personal belongings that were meant to be seen on Christmas morning. Squeakers, hungry from all the work, he took a slice of the booty roast and indulged it as if there was no tomorrow. Fred then noticed yogurt in the fridge, so he inhaled not only the food from the fridge, but the fridge itself. Stuffed with all of the belongings he held into his body, he could barely move, so Squeakers had no other choice but to row him around the whole time. They left at the first house they robbed with very little crumbs that he seemed too small for an ant. After a few houses dropped, the last one was just away from Squeakers' dominant plan to steal Christmas.
Finally, after so many years of waiting, everything about Christmas will be gone.
Squeakers!
Fred mumbled with all the junk stuffed in his mouth.
I'm gonna be sick!
Don't worry, Fred. Just one more house, and guess what? It's the smallest house in the whole town. Come on!
Upon their arrival, they done the deed they had to be done in order to literally steal Christmas. But first, Squeakers wanted a slice of cake as a way to celebrate without Fred getting his share with the slice. Since, well, he's loaded with all the painted toys, boxes, and of course the food. As Squeakers was about to take a bite, he heard a creaking noise coming from the living room. Squeakers grabbed a rolling pin near a table and slowly encountered the owner. To his surprise, it's a little girl, about half a Squeaker's size, with her pajamas all wrinkled as if it wasn't been in the laundry for weeks, or even months.
Excuse me, Mr. Quaz?
The little girl spoke with a faint yawn.
What happened to your furniture, and why is Rudolph so big?
Uh-oh, spaghettios!
Sang Fred in a muffled from the notes. Squeakers stuttered, trying his best to find a lie that can fool this little girl that stands right in front of him. And then he did.
Well, my sweet.
Jezebella.
Right. Anyways, your furniture is, defective. Yeah, defective.
Fred tried to do a facepalm, but sadly he was too bloated to do so.
Mommy!
The girl shouted. Heavy footsteps shook the house, and up the stairs was a frizzy-haired mother holding a bottle of alcohol with 3 cigarettes in her mouth.
What do you want, sweetie?
Said the chain smoker.
Mommy has a client upstairs, and why are you up in the middle of the night? You're supposed to be asleep.
Jezebella responded.
Santa Claus wants to borrow our furniture because they have bugs in it.
The disgruntled mother pulled a whip out of her shoulders that was barely visible and said,
Not in this house!
She nearly whipped Squeakers, where his hat turned into torn pieces. Fred and Squeakers stared at each other for a few seconds, and they screamed.